This is episode 2 of my VA claim strategy podcast, and today we're talking about none other than Nexus letters, and specifically how to get one without paying thousands of dollars. Okay, so if you really need a Nexus letter for your claim and you can't hire a company, you've come to the right place. Okay, I'm going to cover where to get one, how to approach your doctor, and what to do if they say no. Okay, with that being said, let's begin. Okay, first, for those of you who don't know, a Nexus letter is simply a medical opinion explaining why your current condition is connected to your military service or to another service-connected condition. Okay, so it applies to secondary conditions as well. Okay, it can be an extremely powerful piece of evidence, but it is also one of the sketchiest parts of the VA claim industry. Okay, as if it couldn't get any worse as is. Okay, there are countless companies willing to sell you one, and I will be the first to say that most, not some, not a decent percent, but most of these companies are total scams. Okay, and I'm telling you that as someone who has affiliate relationships in that industry, where it would be in my best interest to hype the crap out of them and get as many veterans to buy a Nexus letter as possible. Okay, but the truth is that most veterans can get a Nexus letter completely for free if you do the right approach. Okay, so let's start there. Okay, first, a Nexus letter can come from any qualified medical professional. Okay, but by far the best person to ask first is your primary doctor or any doctors who have treated you. Okay, and I know it can be tricky for a lot of veterans because many veterans rotate doctors frequently, and so many don't actually have a primary doctor that's treated them for an extended period of time. Okay, but usually they know you to some extent, obviously. They understand your medical history, and they've treated you long enough to give a credible medical opinion. Okay, and again, you can also approach any doctor who has treated the specific condition you're claiming. Okay, for migraines, you can ask a neurologist. For tinnitus, you can ask an audiologist to diagnose you. Okay, so you have a doctor. Now you'll just go in and ask for a Nexus letter at your next appointment, right? Absolutely not. Okay, that usually goes nowhere the vast majority of the time. Okay, the truth is that most doctors are extremely hesitant to write Nexus letters. Okay, they don't view them the same as normal medical opinions. They often associate Nexus letters with legal advocacy, or they just simply don't have the time to review all of your records. Okay, what you want to do before the appointment is to actually prepare a short Nexus letter draft yourself. Okay, what you want to do is include the condition, what you believe the service connection is, your medical history, and the supporting evidence. I have a ton of guides on this on my website already. I will link them in the description. But once you have that, you can move on to the next step. Okay, so you have your Nexus letter template. Now you can schedule your appointment with your doctor, and here's what you should do. Okay, first, you want to go in and ask what they genuinely think. Okay, you want to ask, based on what they know about you, what their opinion is of whether your condition is related to your service. Okay, and you can tell them that you prepared a draft to save time and explaining the connection in your own words, and you can ask if they would be comfortable reviewing, changing, and signing it if they agree. Okay, it is far more effective to ask a doctor to review and sign a Nexus letter rather than write one from scratch. Okay, even if they completely want to help you, many doctors just simply don't have the time to review all your records, which can be a ton of pages, and write a credible medical opinion. Okay, if the first doctor says no, which can happen, it's not necessarily your fault, you want to repeat this process with your VA doctor and, again, any other provider who has treated your condition. Okay, contrary to popular belief, VA doctors can write Nexus letters, okay, according to VHA Directive 1134, but they are often even more hesitant than primary doctors. Again, the trick is approaching them for a medical opinion, which is considered to be a normal part of their job. Okay, so you've approached your primary doctor, your VA doctor, all treating doctors. If all of them have said no, which is honestly unlikely up to this point, then I will explain what to do next. The good news is that you are not out of options. Okay, if none of your treating doctors will help, the next best place is to start looking for an independent specialist online. Okay, you actually have far more options than you even think. Okay, you can simply search Google for your condition, your location, and in quotes, you can put terms like independent medical opinion or medical records review. Okay, you can also use physician directories and relevant specialists. There's plenty of them online, so do your research. Okay, you want to keep the outreach very simple. Okay, you want to simply explain the condition, the claim connection, what records you have, and ask whether they perform independent medical reviews for VA claims. Okay, not all of them will, but again, you want to reach out to multiple doctors to improve your chances. Okay, don't say your entire life story. Okay, just what they need to establish the connection. Okay, this is extremely effective for claims where they don't necessarily have to review you in person to know if your condition is connected to service. Okay, like sleep apnea, this is extremely effective. Okay, because the cases are often complex, but it's not necessarily complex because of you specifically. It's complex because of the medical link itself. Okay, I will link a sample outreach message that I might send in the description of this podcast. Okay, so for most veterans, if you've gotten up to this point, most of you guys should have a Nexus letter for completely free without having to hire a company. Okay, if you want to hire a Nexus letter company, you've run out of options, or you just don't want to do all the work that I've laid out, then you can consider hiring an online company. Okay, I'm deliberately not recommending a specific company here because, number one, I don't want to be seen as promoting a sketchy industry, and simply because you also need to be extremely careful. Okay, the first thing you need to know, do not trust any online reviews. Not one single one unless you know the person. Okay, it's not just because many of them are fake. It's because many veterans will actually get approved and they pay $2,000 for a Nexus letter, and the Nexus letter had nothing to do with their approval, but they believe it did. Okay, and again, many reviews online are fake. Okay, especially Reddit, it's rampant right now. Okay, the second thing you need to do is you need to ensure the provider screens your case before accepting you. Okay, why would this matter? Okay, that's because not all veterans who think they need a Nexus letter actually do. Okay, and companies know this. Okay, if a company is legitimate, they should be willing to tell you when they don't believe there's a medical connection. If they don't do this, that automatically disqualifies them in my eyes. Okay, and lastly, and this is just the most blatantly red flag, avoid this company at all costs. Do not accept anybody guaranteeing approval. Okay, nobody can guarantee approval, no matter how good of a company they are. That's the VA's job, not the company's job. And to finish, I'd also be skeptical of any company selling fast turnaround times. Okay, it genuinely should take time for the doctor to understand whether the connection exists and how to explain it. Okay, so if they're promising something like 24 hours, I would be highly skeptical of that. That concludes my first and hopefully only guide on how to get a Nexus letter. This industry, or this part of the industry, honestly gets way more attention than it deserves. But if you have any questions or you have any thoughts below, comment them.